I'm so pleased to have Joe Levin, a partner at Watson, Farley and Williams. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for being here.
Great to be here.
So just to start, your firm has built a strong reputation in project and acquisition finance. How is the firm positioning itself to support clients in Africa's oil and gas sector?
So we like to stay very close to what our clients are doing and move with what they're doing. And also we stay very close to what the market is doing. And in that regard, on the financing market, we've seen a lot of the European banks in recent years pull out of oil and gas transactions, particularly in Africa. But what we're seeing is that a number of alternative lenders and other banks are taking up the slack in that sector. So the South African banks like ABSA and Rand Merchant Bank are lending heavily in the oil and gas sector in Africa. We're seeing traders such as Trafigura also picking up a lot of the slack, as well as the trading arms of a lot of majors such as Totsa are also providing finance. And I also want to mention Afrexim Bank, the multilateral bank lending across Africa and also really lending into oil and gas. And so as we've transitioned from working with those European banks to these other lenders in the market, these other lenders have slightly different commercial reasons for lending to transactions. They have different documentary requirements, and we can bring that experience of working with those lenders to our clients, to oil and gas companies looking to acquire assets in Africa.
And with your track record in reserve-based lending and structured financing, how is WFW tailoring its services to meet with the needs of the independent operators acquiring assets from majors in Africa?
That's a good question because unfortunately none of the work we do is exactly sort of cookie cutter or boilerplate. What we say to clients and buyers in the market, buyers of assets, is bring us in early. We like to be involved very early in a transaction. It could be at the bid stage or a term sheet stage or a legal due diligence stage. And what we do is we get heavily involved, look for risk for those buyers on a transaction, help them to make sure from the very start of a transaction they're doing everything in a bankable way. And what that will do is it will help support getting finance later down the line. So no sort of mistakes are made early on, that we've got our clients as buyers in mind, but also the banks that may lend money to them to execute the transaction and hopefully get to a financial close of the deal later on.
And your firm has advised on transactions across multiple jurisdictions. How does the firm leverage its international expertise to deliver solutions that fit the unique financing challenges that African projects often have?
So that's a very broad question, but so we're a 200 partner firm, and we've been working on oil and gas transactions across Europe, Africa, Asia and South America in recent years. And what we found is that we can bring experience of working across those jurisdictions together. So for example, we have a large oil and gas practice in Asia, and we can also follow our Asian clients and guide them into doing transactions across Africa. And I think that kind of knowledge of our clients in their home territories such as Asia and executing transactions in Africa really comes together very well.
And as the energy transition pressure grows, how is your firm adapting its oil and gas practice to balance traditional upstream deals with financing for emerging sectors like renewables as well as gas to power?
So actually, Watson, Farley and Williams actually has a very big renewables practice already. And actually we were advising on renewables transactions across Europe in particular for many years. But what, as a firm, we've been doing over the last 10 years or so has been really building up our oil and gas experience, our team, our practice, because we are heavily invested into the sector. And so, yes, renewables will play a big part of the energy mix for Africa in the long term. Right now, we're really focused on natural resources and assisting and working on oil and gas transactions across Africa. But with a mindful that in the future we can bring our renewables experience to African transactions.
So we're here at African Energy Week, Invest in African Energies. What role does your firm see for itself in helping structure and de-risk deals that will be announced or negotiated during the event?
So We're really keen to get involved, and as I mentioned earlier, we like to get involved with clients and especially companies looking to acquire or develop assets across Africa, particularly North Africa, West Africa is where we've been doing most of our transactions. We're really keen to work with them, and as mentioned, to make sure that they're doing everything that's in a bankable manner that will support finance that they may need later on down the line. I think we're also quite an entrepreneurial firm and collaborative firm, and what we try to do also is to bring transactions together where we can, and actually when clients work with us, we don't just do legal work. If we've got useful contacts or connections for them, we always like to bring people together. And it's actually great being here at Africa Energy Week because there's so many passionate people trying to bring things together. So we feel very much at home here and enjoy coming here.
And just my final question, what message will you be sharing at the event about, your long-term commitment to supporting Africa's energy financing landscape and fostering bankable investment opportunities?
So, we are very passionate, but I think our track record shows that we're very passionate about working on African transactions. For example, we're a huge ambassador for, and we do a lot of work with the Frexim Bank. They're doing incredible work across Africa, and actually they are really helping get over the line some quite tricky oil and gas transactions, including development finance, and which a lot of banks can't do, a lot of traders can't provide, take certain risk on transactions. And there's a Frexim Bank looking to help get those deals over the line because they know how important they are to local economies. And so I think we are very committed to working with banks such as the Frexim Bank and others, lending into the market because finance is key, and we've set up a big team to do that, and I can confirm we are very passionate about doing so.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Great, thank you.